What's up guys, Banker with Custom Offsets. I know you haven't seen me in a video for a while, but they wanted somebody who actually knew some shit, so I'm back. Today we're gonna be talking about rough country, and they wanted me to tell you all of the good things about rough country lift kits. So here we go. So we're actually going to be discussing the history of good old rough country lift kits. Rough country was actually founded in 1975 as just an aftermarket shock company. So aftermarket shocks were good for about 11 years, and then rough country ended up getting bought out by Heckathorn Products. Anyway, that is when rough country started expanding into other markets like the lift kits, the skid plates, all the things you see today. They still obviously had the best steering stabilizers and shocks on the market for the aftermarket application, but that's when they started getting into the stuff you know them for today. So rough country prides themselves on being off-road people themselves. So for the past 45 years of them being in business, they've had the same vision of building the best quality off-road product at an affordable price, getting you lifted for less is their whole motto. So most people associate rough country with cheap, Chinese-made, just garbage. Rough country is actually built, designed, and engineered right here in the United States, actually in Tennessee. So it's actually a really good American-made product. The engineers down at rough country are focusing on maintaining factory ride quality with a superior durability finish. So they have actually exceeded all the salt spray ratings on their powder coat finish, and their new designed N3 shocks are supposed to be better at retaining the factory ride quality on all these brand new trucks. Another thing they pride themselves on being that they're based in Tennessee. When you call them, you don't get shipped over to India, you don't get an automated phone service, you actually talk to a real life person in Tennessee. So as we know, rough country prides themselves on being the best bang for their buck, easy to install lift kit. And after doing so many of them, I'd have to agree they are one of the easiest to install, and they are the best bang for your buck. Their engineering, you can tell that they've been engineered on the vehicles. They've done these installs themselves, which is something rough country really prides themselves on, that they put in the effort, they do all the engineering in real life on vehicles. It's not just a CAD program. And because of this, rough country has become one of the largest bolt-on lift kit and accessory manufacturers in the game right now. Now they offer everything you'll see other than lift kits and replacement shocks. They've gone to grills, light bar mounts, side steps. They even have their own brand of fender flares and bed covers these days. So in true rough country fashion, their new N3 shocks that are coming out this year are the best quality at that price point of like $50 per shock on the market, as well as their mesh grills are about half the price of the competition that's out there right now. What makes those shocks better is with the new N3 shocks were designed with a larger body, a larger dampener, and better seals, so you're not blowing these things out. They can take a little bit more abuse than what the average shock in that price range could do. So to keep up with the high demand for these kits, rough country actually has 240 employees running 3 shifts a day, 5 days a week. Rough country is actually only sold USA and Canada. They're just now breaking into the European and Asian markets. The future of rough country, they are really getting into the game. They want to continue doing that. They're coming out with a line of truck bumpers to rival NFAB and Iron Cross. They're also coming out with some new designs for grills to keep up with the new body styles of trucks. And in the works, they have a reservoir body shock to rival the Fox and Dirt Logic, as well as expanding their line of lift kits to have more options. You see the Silverados have like bracket kits, knuckle kits, strut options. They're going to expand on that for the other lines of trucks. I know right now they don't offer a strut kit for the F-150. Maybe that's something you'll see in the future. I've had mine on for 2 years, and whatever they're using for a coating works, because this thing has seen Wisconsin winters and I abused the shit out of it, and it's holding up amazing. If I hose this thing off, it actually looks like it's a brand new lift kit underneath there. Even here in the shop, I see more rough country lift kits compared to FabTech BDS. I mean, we probably install these things 3-to-1. And again, that's the price point. People can get a lifted truck for not a lot of money, and that's their biggest thing. Selling volume, selling to everyone. You know, it's the lift kit for anyone. So if you're working on your first truck, you know, you just got your license or you just got into trucks, rough country is a really good option for just breaking into the whole lifted truck scene. We all started with this. You know, we've only been installing for like 3-4 years now. We all went and got rough country kits right away because it was an easy into the scene. CO2, our giant show truck, had a rough country on when we started. We just now switched over to BDS, and that was literally just because you guys asked us what the difference was, so we had to put a kit on. The rough country was great. I mean, it got us around, it got us to and from shows, it got us a lifted truck that was really getting noticed. And that's the point of the rough country kits. You know, it maintains factory ride quality. Trucks ride like trucks. You know, they're not the Cadillac on the road. Rough country keeps you in a truck, a lifted truck. You guys may or may not have seen, we just did a brand new rough country bracket kit in a 15 Silverado, and the thing rode like it did factory. Was it a vast improvement? Not really, but it wasn't any worse, and it's 7 inches in the air. You can't really ask for a whole lot more than that. And with their new, anybody who's put a lift kit on an OBS Chevy will know, the bracket kits they came back out with to not increase the track width, because there's people out there who don't want real wide. And the majority of the rough country lift kits with the knuckles was pushing them out 2 inches in the front. You had to run spacers in the back, and you're 2 inches wider all the way around, which, I mean, if you're a 18-year-old kid and you're running around 14 wides, that's great news for you because you're gonna have the widest truck on Instagram. If you're, an older guy, or you really want to keep your stuff clean, that doesn't help you. So they came back out with the bracket kits, keeps all of your factory knuckle, your factory upper control arms, keeps everything in line, doesn't increase the track width on the truck, doesn't have you throwing shit all off the sides. You can put on a set of fender flares that'll actually do something. And then you can run a set of 10 wides and not have to worry about it being 18 inches outside your fenders because the knuckles didn't push it out. And it keeps your factory steering geometry, it keeps a lot of the factory components at angles that it really likes. Rough Country's got a lot of shit over the years, especially this generation Silverado, of just stretching angles on everything, just really pushing ball joints and everything to the extreme. And I think that's where they dropped down from the 7.5 inch to the 7 inch on the newer body styles. They went back to the bracket kits, try and fix all these issues that were known. So they're not just throwing lift kits out here to throw lift kits out. They're actually getting your guys' feedback, doing the research themselves, seeing how these things ride. They're improving year after year after year. So they're actively trying to create a better product at a price point that everyone can get into. So that kind of wraps up the history, the future, the all in all, what is Rough Country right now. You're gonna see a lot more of us featuring them this week. So stay tuned, remember, subscribe, like, throw a comment in there. We wanna see your trucks with the Rough Country kits. We wanna hear your experiences, what you think of the Rough Country kits. But maybe I'll be back again when they need somebody who knows what they're talking about. You never know. Peace.